Lewis Hamilton extends his lead in the World Championship and takes a victory at the Belgian Grand Prix. He took pole position yesterday alongside Valtteri Bottas in second place and Max Verstappen in third place, and that's where it stayed for the entirety of these 44 laps. The Belgian Grand Prix, say it was entertaining, say it wasn't, but it was good to see on the track. Some great results from the teams. Midfield battles was good, and another podium. Mercedes extend their lead. They were already almost 100 points ahead of Red Bull in the constructors heading into this race, further extend that lead. And a good race around one of the best races for us, and hopefully you guys out there. The Belgian Grand Prix was average, but still nevertheless some good entertainment we saw in the world of Formula 1. So let's take you back to the start. Now, again, in a very emotional weekend for Spa. A good performance was put on. Pole position was very good yesterday and followed up with a good race today. So the first thing that happened in today's race was Carlos Sainz. Blue smoke was coming out of that car on the way to the grid. He pulled into the garage and the inevitable happened. He had an exhaust problem and had to not do the first race in Belgium. It was really unfortunate for him. He was out of the race and there was going to be no race for him after a good qualifying session for him, and it was supposed to be a good midfield breaking into a top field battle for the McLaren driver, so he was unfortunately out. All eyes were definitely on fourth place man today, Daniel Ricciardo, the Honey Badger. A great result for him, fourth place in qualifying, lined up on the second row of the grid alongside his old teammate of Max Verstappen. We had a minute silence before the race in honour of Antoine Hubert, who basically has been showed support all through this weekend. Tribute and tribulation coming in all the way through Formula 1, 2 and 3. Great minute silence from the Formula 2 paddock yesterday and another one today before the race. That was good to see. So the race got off a good start by the two Mercedes. Not really any changes on the first lap. It was a good performance by Daniel Ricciardo, really pressurising Max Verstappen, and this was definitely one of the, I would say, a big moment of the race. You know, through the Le Combe chicane, up the Kemmel Straight, and around the Sector 2, and it was looking like promising for Daniel Ricciardo that he was going to take Max. And you thought, like, this is incredible. And obviously when he left Red Bull, this is what we all wanted to see. We all wanted to see Daniel Ricciardo battling Max and showing, you know, this is why I left and this is what I want to do. So it was really good for him to see that. But obviously, as I say, Max kept ahead as he normally would. Mercedes ran away with it. Lewis Hamilton had a 1.4 second gap at the end of lap 1, so it looked pretty good from him, even though Valtteri Bottas was definitely pumping out some of the fastest laps. Inside the first 10 laps, I think he had 8 of the 10 fastest laps, and of course Mercedes just playing table tennis with who had the fastest lap. Another thing to watch on lap 1 was the Ferraris. They lined up in a very disappointing position on the qualifying grid, one of the worst positions that they had. I remember in Spain they were saying it was the worst qualifying since 2006. Belgium definitely looking like that. I don't know what year it was when we go back to their bad position, but it was really one of the worst positions for Ferrari. Charles Leclerc made up 4 positions on the opening lap, pushing through to 8th position. Sebastian Vettel only made 1, hitting Giovinazzi, and yeah, you know, it wasn't a good performance from him. Obviously, definitely Leclerc showing that, you know, whatever Sebastian was going through, he was definitely the stronger driver. But through, again, a lack of pace and around 20 brake horsepower less on the straights, and that was even before DRS and even the use of ERS. The Ferraris were just not powerful at all, and they were definitely slipping through. So that 8th place that Charles Leclerc made up, in the next few laps, he was getting overtaken by the likes of Kvyat and Sergio Perez to fall back to his original position and then even further back throughout the race, even before he'd made any pit stops. It definitely wasn't a good weekend for Ferrari. To be honest, pretty much of a laughing stock. But we'll move on from talking about Ferrari. There was a crash between Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell. Gio just losing it heading into Sector 3 and collecting George Russell as one of the tyres which came off, one of the wheels that came off Giovinazzi's car collected George Russell, and he was unable to stay around it. A big crash between those two cars. Both drivers were okay, both cars were not, and they walked off to the paddock. The safety car came out. Now, one of the things that I noticed, and I put this on Twitter as well, was the red flag, or there should have been a red flag. Basically, red flag is used for when there's a lot of debris on the track. It doesn't have to be after a heavy impact, but it's when the debris is on the track. It's when the track is, you know, undrivable. And to be honest, I would say the track was undrivable at this point. Now, again, let me know in the comment section below, and if you have to go and head over to our Twitter page where I put out a poll on that. Well, I will put out a poll. I'll put my suggestion and then I'll probably put out a poll after this. But should it have been a safety car? Should it have been a red flag? There was a lot of debris, and even David Croft said that, you know, we should have had a red flag. But then there wasn't, and it was around, I think it was, obviously the next lap when the safety car picked them up and Lewis Hamilton headed in too, and he was the first car to go over the debris, and you thought, this isn't really safe in any way. Those cars could have easily got a puncher, and especially after things that happened in the British Grand Prix, and of course after Ty's many one-stop strategies and over 10 laps old in this section of the race, these drivers would have been pretty worried that they would have got a puncher from the debris. So I was really, really shocked that there wasn't a red flag, even just for, a few minutes or anything while they cleared up the debris. But one lap had gone by, and of course, amazing performance by the marshals as always, and obviously good performance by the Belgian marshals today as they cleared off most of the debris from that corner, obviously a fast corner, just before Blanchimont heading into sector 3, which is very high speed as well. And of course, the risk of picking up a puncher was definitely there. So that was cleared up, and yes, safety car peeled off after a few laps, giving the cars a second restart. And we all looked at Max Verstappen as, is this the best chance that he has for another restart? Of course, that is where he would make it up. We all knew that if Max could jump the Mercedes into La Source on lap 1 or after the start, it would have been his race. That didn't happen. Could he do it again? But the bus stop chicane is definitely a hard one to do after a safety car restart. Nothing really much changed after that, and obviously those three ran away with it. Daniel Ricciardo holding strong with his 4th place, moving back to 6th as the lowest, but obviously finishing the race in 4th position. Good fight from him. Also good fight from the AlphaTauri drivers as well. Now Pierre Gasly, again, let me know guys who you voted driver of the day down below. It was close to being Pierre Gasly. Around halfway through the race, he made it up to 4th position. And for him, in front of Alexander Albon, who, as I said, he might not be rivals with. Now I'm seeing a lot of people saying they're rivals. They're not really. I don't think there's any animosity or anything like that. But of course, they were the victims of Trading Places 2.0. And also this race, this time last year, was the race where both of them went to their teams. Obviously, Pierre Gasly went from Red Bull to AlphaTauri, and Toro Rosso, I should say, and Alex Albon went from Toro Rosso to Red Bull. So they kind of, both years are reset here. How would they do? And for most of the race, like most of the season, it was looking like Pierre Gasly was holding Alex Albon in the race. Very close to doing that, and we were all really hoping for that. Of course, I really have a space for Pierre Gasly, who, to be honest, is kind of the man who has got the best chance to throw spanners in the works of not just Red Bull, but Alex Albon's race. So that was really good to see. Obviously, Ferrari again not getting the race right, not getting the strategies and the pit stops right as well. Around halfway through the race, Charles Leclerc makes a stop, goes to the back of the grid and has a tough time through that. As I say, Sebastian Vettel struggling with the tyres, but again, there's not much he can do in this situation. He falls back to basically where they started the race. 13 to 14 is actually where they finished, and they started the race and in this predicament. Around lap 20, they actually collided into Le Combe chicane. Only a little collision, but if we all remember what happened in Brazil 2019, going down the back straight, trying to pass each other very safely and all that, we all know that this can go very, very wrong. But obviously everything stayed fine for that. Lewis Hamilton also now breaks another record, guys. Can you believe? I think it was 156 podiums last week. Now he has broken another record. As well as obviously closing down the Michael Schumacher records that he wants, 7 and 91, 89 today, 89th victory for Lewis Hamilton. By the way, just chucking that in there. Another record that he broke is the number of kilometers led, and this is the total, and this is 21,144. So number 44 has to be in there. That is insane. I mean, like we said last week, Kimi Räikkönen broke the all-time kilometers in Formula 1. And now Lewis leads the all-time, not just in Formula 1, but leads Formula 1. It's absolutely incredible for him. 21,000. Another record broken from him. Absolutely incredible from that. Now, that was really the drama that happened in the race. It was an okay race, probably rating from me. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I mean, I like watching Formula 1. I'll never give a race lower than 2 or anything like that. It was okay to watch. Maybe not the most exciting, but nevertheless, there we go. That was the Belgian Grand Prix. Let's run through the results now. So in first place, we have, of course, Lewis Hamilton takes the victory. His 89th of his career. Absolutely incredible from him. Showing the respect to Antoine Hubert. Also as well, the late Black Panther actor who passed away yesterday with the Wakanda salute yesterday. That was good to see as well. Honouring him in his victories today. Valtteri Bottas takes second place as well. Again, quickly on Valtteri, pumping out fastest laps. Definitely a chance. he could have challenged Lewis. There was parts in the race where Lewis wasn't running away with it, and we thought Valtteri could have possibly given a charge. I think it was around lap 8. He came on the radio and said that I've got to push. Hope maybe meaning extra power, or maybe an extra, party mode or something like that. Can I use it? He was told on the radio by James, I assume, don't use it on Lewis Hamilton. We told you that in brief. Valtteri Bottas outright says, I didn't hear that. Basically meaning, are we heading into another Russia 2018? I don't want to play, I don't want to play second fiddle to Lewis Hamilton. I want to go for it. And then about 10 laps after that, he was said, just go for it. And we thought that this just meant, well, you are 3 seconds behind Lewis, but, give it all you can. Maybe also chase the fast lap as well. Again, extend your lead over Max Verstappen in third. But a good race from him nonetheless. Definitely showing that he is chipping away at the, the number 1 door. He's getting out of the number 2 spot. Third place is Max Verstappen. Again, seemingly not a challenging race for him, to be honest. Pretty much in no man's land like he was in the 70-year anniversary race and the British Grand Prix as well, of course, until the punch happened in that race. Fourth place and taking home the fastest lap is Daniel Ricciardo. That's 13 points for him. Incredible. And definitely my driver of the day. I think he's Formula 1 driver of the day. Again, I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comment section below. And also let me know your driver of the day for this race. Fifth place is Esteban Ocon. Again, amazing result for him and Renault taking home great points from this. I think they might be the second most successful team this weekend taking home points. Of course, 13 for Daniel Ricciardo. I think it's 10. I think it is for Ocon. So great performance from him. Sixth place is Alex Albon. Again, needs to get higher than that. Second place Red Bull driver. But he took the man who I've been talking about before, Gasly, and a good result from him. A good haul of points for Red Bull. Sixth place, and of course the third from Verstappen. Seventh place is Lando Norris. There was no it's broken on the radio. There was now it's fixed. And a good position from him, definitely showing some good pace. I remember he passed Sebastian Vettel on lap 12, I think it was. Great performance by him, definitely showing some, good performance around Spa. Hopefully he can come back next year with a new teammate and hopefully a new, better car with the Mercedes engine and do a better result than he got today. So yeah, I'd say I was pretty impressed by Norris. Eighth place was Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. Fourth place at one point, definitely showing his cards. Very strong in that. Having some great battles with the likes of Sergio Perez, Lance Stroll, the Renault of Esteban Ocon, and even Sebastian Vettel at some point. Of course, when he was breaking through. Less said about him, the better though. Ninth place is Lance Stroll, and 10th place is Sergio Perez. Rounding off the top 10, double racing point in those positions. Jordan had him third place. Again, didn't think he was going to do that, but maybe lacking pace, maybe lacking what they have shown before in the racing point cars. But not too bad from them. They take some good points. 11th place, just outside the top 10, is Danny Kvyat. No points for him, but definitely a good showing from AlphaTauri. I think they should be very happy with today's race. Next week, they head into Monza, their home race, where the factory is based, formerly Toro Rosso. So I think they should be happy heading into their home race. 12th place is Kimi Räikkönen, a man who I think last week in Spain, or 2 weeks ago, was struggling, and it wasn't the happiest race for him. So I'm glad that he had a good race today, again in the Alfa Romeo. It isn't the most powerful car. He was the only runner of the Italian-Swiss car, so not a bad result for him as well. I think Alfa, again, heading into their home race next week, should be, showing progress. I'm happy with that. Here we go, 13th and 14th. 13th place, Sebastian Vettel. In 14th place, Charles Leclerc. Ferrari, this could be one of Ferrari's worst races that they've ever done in Formula 1. Really, definitely something that they have to forget. I think around half race distance, I was calling for them to retire. A bit like what they did in Monaco last year when I saw Charles Leclerc. He was at the back of the grid. They just retired the car, saved it for the next race. They should have done that maybe today. Save it for Monza, their home race, now one of 3 Italian races, or one of 3 home races for the Scuderia. So maybe just retire the car. Again, you're not showing it in front of any fans or anything like that. Maybe retire the car and just save the engine. But I know what they mean. They wanted to just run it and see how they would do. They don't want a race where they either win or retire. They want to show a little bit of battling from them. 15th place is Romain Grosjean. Again, the Haas been very quiet today in today's race. He was showing some good midfield promise, but it didn't work out all the good for Romain Grosjean today. 16th position is Nicholas Latifi, the sole Williams driver in today's race. Not too bad from him, but he is in a Williams. At least he isn't last, because last place goes to 17th position Kevin Magnussen. Not much to say about that. Haas, really disappointing for them. Hopefully they can have a better Monza. But there we go, as Belgium, not good for them. The three retirees in today's race, or two should I say, is Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell colliding in the opening stages of the race. Giovinazzi, very unfortunate for him. It looks like he might have clipped the rear axle and just been a bit too punchy on the throttle, getting a little bit too much curb as well, and spinning the car into the wall. As I say, the rear tyre came off, collected George Russell's car in the path. It was more like a Felipe Massa crash in Silverstone 2015. Couldn't avoid it. Collided with the barrier, and those two were out. And of course, Carlos Sainz as well didn't start the race. A DNS for him, very similar to Nico Hülkenberg in the first British Grand Prix race. Really unfortunate for him. He was actually classified on the first round, saying that he lost 13 positions. And I was like, he's not in the race. I don't know what's going on. So there we go. That is the race. That is the results. And yes, that is the Belgian Grand Prix. Do you know what? I didn't actually have more notes on the race, but from internet connection, I couldn't get them across to my computer. So again, sorry about that. There's probably a lot more that I noted down that I couldn't tell you. Try my best though, I think. And there we go. That is the good race from them. Some good performance by the drivers. Of course, L.Hamilton extends his lead in the World Championship. Now, Max Verstappen keeping his challenging hopes alive, but not incredibly happy with the pace of that Red Bull. Still knows it's optimistic to think that he's going to be in third position and he can't crack the Mercedes like we all think he can. But there we go. That is the Belgian Grand Prix. We hope that you enjoyed the race. Let me know in the comment section below your driver of the day. Mine is Daniel Ricciardo for sure. Let me know yours as well. Who do you think? Hope you enjoyed the race as well, and roll on to the next race, one of 3 Italian Grand Prix. It should be very, very special. This morning as well, Mugello was confirmed, or there is a thought that some fans will be allowed in the race along with Sochi as well. Abu Dhabi is also optimistic to have fans in the event. There was no fans at the Belgian Grand Prix as well, which is really, really unfortunate. Normally, a lot of fans come over from England, from the Netherlands, from everywhere to this very prestigious race. It is really unfortunate that no one was able to do it this year, but hopefully next year as well, we will all flock back there in great numbers to see these cars. Will Mercedes' domination be stopped? But I don't know if it will do. Also, last thing as well in terms of Mercedes is amazing. This is the 30th consecutive Grand Prix they have led at least one lap in the lead. Now that takes the entirety of 2019 in consideration, that they led at least one lap in every single race and in the first 7 rounds of this season. Incredible domination from Mercedes. I don't think they'll be able to stop, but we'll have to see what happens. So there we go, there's the Belgian Grand Prix. We hope that you've enjoyed that as well. We hope you've enjoyed this race reaction from us. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. We have so much more content coming your way in the future. Of course, including our race reviews after the race. We used to do live streams, now we're just doing normal videos. I hope that you enjoy that better. We do. It's better quality on the cameras and just better for us as well. And yeah, we have so much more as well in the build-up to the next race, Italian Grand Prix at Monza, and of course throughout the 2020 season. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed today's race. Stay safe. We can't wait to see you next time. And until next time, we'll see you later.